On today's Chasing the Game, we have Defiance head baseball coach Rick Weaver. We talk about his coaching career and the Bulldogs, who are rolling. Chasing the Game starts right now. Welcome into Chasing the Game. Rick Weaver is here. Rick, thank you so much for coming downtown to the studio to do this. I really appreciate it. Coming from Defiance, you guys are rolling right now over there. You got 13-0 right now on the season. What's the energy in the dugout like right now?
Energy is pretty good right now. Obviously, when you go on a roll like that, winning 13 in a row, kids feel pretty good. We're senior dominated. We have 13 seniors, so basically any given day we're starting 8 seniors, sometimes 9. So with that experience and all that going on, it's been a pretty good start for us.
Yeah, I think you guys are outscoring opponents right now. It's like 109 runs to like 30 on the season right now. I think in the last 3 games it's been 28 to nothing. You guys have just been, I mean, especially in the last few games, just been rolling. What's that about?
Yeah, well, early on in the season, the weather's bad, it's cold, you can't really get into a routine. I mean, baseball's meant to be played every day, so the weather's starting to break a little. The bats always heat up a little more when the weather breaks. Our pitchers have gotten in a little more routine, throwing a lot more strikes. Breslin Ziffel and Cody Shaw have been really good, which has helped. And then, 1 through 9, I believe we have guys at every spot that can hit it for us.
Yeah, what's doing better right now for you guys, offense or defense?
They've both been pretty good. I like our pitching. We've had our top 3 guys from last year are all back, which Breslin Ziffel, Cody Shaw, and Khalil Ligon. And then we bring in Garrison Smitty, who is a Butler signee but was sick all of last year. So he never had pitched for us up until this year. He's a 6'7" lefty who's mid to upper 80s, so that's a really good addition. We're glad to have him back and that he's healthy for us.
Yeah, you and I were talking before this Division III coaches poll. There are 4 teams that are undefeated in just that division. I think there are 7 teams in the entire state right now that are left undefeated. What do you think that says about D3 baseball? So many talented teams.
Yeah, it's funny you say it, because when the breakdown came out either late last spring or early summer, I remember, Dylan Hefflinger, who runs PBR, and he's from Defiance, he texted me right away and said, Division III is loaded. He's like, I cannot believe all the teams that are in there. And then you start looking at him, you're like, oh my gosh, he's right, it is loaded.
Yeah, you guys have obviously done really well on that schedule. Like I said, 13-0, you've played some really talented teams, you got some great teams coming up. Did you make a point this season to have a really challenging schedule to play a bunch of bigger schools and just really talented schools from across the state?
We've always tried to do that, even in the previous years under Coach Held. We've always tried to challenge us. We've always believed that that's going to make us better down the road for the tournament and the league. And then PBR, a few years ago, started putting these weekends together where they try to match the best teams and so forth. So that's kind of boosted our schedule a little more than normal. We were supposed to play Lancaster 2 weeks ago. We had to move up our game because of our Hall of Fame banquet, so then we get stuck playing Orchard Lake St. Mary's out of Michigan, and I'm like, oh, great. And that, it ended up for us well. We scored 2 in the bottom of the 7th to win 3-2. But that's something we've always tried to do, is beef up our schedule so that we're prepared once tournament comes around.
Yeah, I had Ryan Donnelly in here last week, and same deal. They played Orchard Lake St. Mary's, incredible team. I think they had to come back in the bottom of the 7th.
They were down 7-0 and came back and beat them.
Yeah, but it's not an easy team to do that against at all. No. You mentioned Tom Held earlier. That's a guy that you've had a relationship now for a long time. Can you explain that for people, what your guys' relationship is like? It's someone who goes back, to the early 90s, playing at Bryant.
Yeah, I played for him at Bryant, so I've been around Tom since I was 15. He was first my JV basketball coach, and then coached me in baseball for 3 years. Graduated, I was basically away from him for 1 year. Then I came back and I coached Acme under him at Bryan, and then was head baseball coach in Ludlow, Kentucky for 1 year, and called me and asked if I was interested in being his assistant at Defiance. And I actually came back, I interviewed at Bryan and Defiance on the same day. Bryan offered me the job on the spot. Defiance waited a couple days. Yeah. And the funny thing is, I picked Defiance for 2 reasons. One, I wanted to coach with Coach Held, but I thought that would better prepare me to be a head coach. And really my whole plan was be there 2 or 3 years and then go be a head coach somewhere else. And kind of fell in love with Defiance. We started building something special. and the program kept growing and growing. Didn't want to leave the program. Then my kids started getting older and older, and then once they got to a certain age, my wife was like, you can leave and be a head coach, but our kids are staying here. And they've loved Defiance. My daughter went through there, my oldest son went through there, now my youngest son is a junior who plays on the baseball team for us.
That was going to be my next question. As you've been an assistant coach now for almost a quarter century, I mean, most people do not stick around in one place that long, as a head coach or any sort of position. Was there ever a point where you thought maybe you were going to leave, or just got to be, so long in, you're like, I can't leave now, I'm too far in?
Yeah, there was, we got to a point where I didn't want to leave. And what was nice is Coach Held and I had been together so long. He gave me so much responsibility, where I was in charge of all the hitters. I did all the base running, I did all the outfield. I felt like I was still a head coach. I mean, at one point he was like, let's make you co-head coach and the two of us will do it together. I'm like, no, I didn't want to do that to him. I mean, with his career, he deserved it. The program he built, but he made me feel like a head coach, so I never felt like I need to go somewhere to make my own mark. I just enjoyed what we were doing. And in all honesty, I thought we would go out together. I really did. And then, 2 years ago, right before the tournament, he sends me a text and is like, I think I'm done. And I didn't even know what he was talking about. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, I think this is my last year. And he's like, are you ready to take over? And I'm like, well, I'm not just going to turn this over to anybody else. And so we kind of talked, and I asked him, why? And he goes, everyone's always told me you'll wake up one day and you'll know. And he goes, about a week ago, I woke up and I just felt it was time to give it up, and it's your turn. So it's all worked out for everyone. Yeah.
Did it feel overwhelming, that responsibility of taking over? Tell me
you
about
can't
that.
even describe the overwhelming. I tell everybody, so, being his assistant for 25 years, I don't think if I would have been his assistant for 25 more, I would have not been prepared for what I went through last year. It's totally different being in charge. It was so much easier being the assistant, questioning him, saying, why don't we do that? And then all of a sudden you're in charge, and it was like the weight of the world was on you. Like every decision is now yours. And then, not to mention, you're following two legends. I mean, Coach Inselman built the program, and what he did was amazing. And then with what Coach Held did in his 25 years, I mean, he took it to another level. So not only is it just being a head coach, all the other stuff that comes with it, but then trying to live up or just maintain what Coach Held did. Like last year, I'm just trying to, hey, let's just keep this afloat and not bury this program of what he's done for 25 years.
Yeah. Did you feel was it a stated expectation that, this team, this program wins state championships? Do you guys talk about that?
We don't, and that's the crazy thing. And everyone always talks about that, like, hey, what goals do you have? Do you guys talk about league? Do you talk about state? We don't. All we talk about is developing a love and a passion for the game. And if any of our kids want to go to the next level, we'll do whatever we can to get you there. And we take it one game at a time. Every day, whoever we're playing, we talk about this is the most important game on our schedule. This is the best team on our schedule. And we treat it more as a process and just keep going day by day by day. And at the end of the season, we'll look back and see what we accomplished.
You touched on a lot of great things there. You guys were an assistant under Held for a number of years before you guys finally get that first state championship in 13. What was that like to finally kind of get over the hump? And you guys had made Final Fours before. What was it like to finally get there and win that state championship?
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because we talk about this stuff all the time. And it was, like Tom had always said, I don't need a state title to solidify my career, and everyone wants one. In 2005, we had John Neese, and we lost in 12 innings in the regional finals. 2012, we have Anthony Kitson who goes to Louisville. We have Robbie Ziegler who goes to Kentucky, and we lose 6-1 in the regional finals to Wapak. And I remember coming home, and I don't take losses real hard. And I remember my wife, 2 hours later, like, hey, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. And she's like, you just seem really down. I'm like, you know what? I think this was our chance. Like, if we can't win a state title with this team, we're never going to win at Defiance. And then we go on and we win 3 of the next 4. It's just crazy, how that happens. And so you win the first one, and I've listened to coaches say, when you win that first one, it makes you hungry for a second. And I kept thinking, you just win one, you'll be happy. Like, what's it matter? And then you win that first one, and then the next year, like, oh my God, we got to get another one. And then you win the second one, you're like, we got to get a third. I mean, it becomes like an obsession. Even though I always say we don't talk about it, like deep inside, like it just, like it becomes an obsession of just winning. Like you can't describe what it's like to win one. And then what was even cooler in 15 is my oldest son was on the team. So then you get to enjoy it with your oldest son. My wife ran the concession stand. My daughter would be everywhere. And it became a family affair. And it was really cool in 15 to win that one.
Is there something that those teams have that maybe others didn't? Is there some quality, or is it just kind of the luck of the draw with the tournament field? Like what happens when teams win a state championship that maybe aren't the loaded rosters that you have in the past?
You got to get breaks. I mean, that's the big thing. And we talk about in 2013, the first game of districts, we got no hit by Toledo Central Catholic, and we win 1-0. And then you go on and win it. And usually it's breaks, and if you have a stud on the mound. I mean, you got to have the stud, and you got to get breaks. Those have been the two biggest things I've taken away from those.
Yeah, you guys have had so many talented people come through. You mentioned, Nice, you got Chad Billingsley. Like, what is it about, having so many talented guys come through? Is Defiance just like this hotbed of talent? Like, how is it that you guys are able to just have all these talented guys come through that make it to the majors?
Yeah, very fortunate. I mean, I don't think we do anything more than anyone else does. I think we've been very fortunate. Our youth program is really good. Our Little League, our DBA, we keep everyone in-house, and I think that develops a love for Defiance. And the kids, we do Little League days where the kids come out, they come out in the field for the national anthem, they stay. I think that just builds a love for Defiance baseball. Obviously, we've had talent come through. I wish I knew what the secret was because I'd keep it going. But they've all had, really, all those guys had two things in common, is they were always the hardest worker, and they were competitive as all get out. And when your best player is your hardest worker, you're going to have success because the other kids just follow them.
Yeah. You guys take on Perrysburg tomorrow at the time that we're recording this. Really quickly, kind of give me a breakdown of what you expect to see out of them. It's a really good D1 program. Not just a D1 program, but a very good one.
Yeah, they lose last year 1-0 in the state finals to Mason, who ended up winning it all. Coach Hall is obviously a legend in Northwest Ohio. He's been there, I think, 40 years, give or take some, forever. I know he was the Perrysburg head coach when I was in high school, and I graduated in '93, so I can tell you how long he's been around. He's done an amazing job with that program. They're one of the teams that I always look forward to playing. They play the game right. They play hard. It's going to be a really good game, and I expect nothing less tomorrow.
Yeah. Going back to Defiance, I mean, you said a great youth program. What's the Defiance community like overall? Not just in terms of baseball, but in terms of athletics, outside of athletics, outside of the school. Like, what is it like for the people who don't know?
It's a great place to grow up. It's a great place to raise kids. The school system I love. Obviously, I've taught there for 26 years. Very supportive from the top down, from the superintendent to the Board of Education, to our principal, to Coach Beauty, our AD. Obviously, sports is very important in that community, which is great when you coach there. It's great when you have kids that play sports. But it's a community that's tight-knit, and they support you in anything you do.
Yeah. You said you've had a few talented guys. Some have sat out. Really good, talented pitching staff, it seems like. I don't want you to make any sort of guarantees, but is this a team that has the potential to make a deep run?
There's potential, yeah. And that's the funny thing. We talk about this all the time with baseball. You never know. Mm-hmm. Basketball, if you're on paper better than the other team, usually you win. Football, usually going to win. You can be better than anyone in baseball on paper, and you can still get beat. It's a crazy game. So on paper, we have the players where I think we can make a run, but that doesn't mean we will.
Yeah. Did you coach anything other than baseball? Have you always been a baseball guy, or did you coach other sports too?
So I went into education to be a football coach.
Okay.
I always wanted to be a head football coach. I started out at Defiance coaching football. Mm-hmm. I started way back when in Kentucky. I was head baseball coach at Ludlow, and I coached basketball at Cincinnati Moeller. Mm-hmm. And now I'm currently the head golf coach as well as the baseball coach. So I've kind of done them all.
Yeah. How does baseball compare to golf?
Totally different.
Yeah.
Let's just say the kids that have got me as a freshman in golf and then turn around and get me in baseball. Like, man, you're a lot more intense in baseball than you are golf. In golf, you're just in charge of driving them to the match and make sure they get there safe. And every now and then you can talk to them and you kind of turn into Dr. Phil and kind of coax them and say, it's all right, we've all hit in the water, we've all went out, but it's okay. And in baseball, it's totally different.
Yeah, I mean, you're like a psychiatrist. Baseball, where does that come from, the philosophy? I mean, does intensity, do you feel like you're getting the most out of kids? Is that sort of a thing that you developed from Coach Held? Where does that come from?
The intensity?
Yeah.
I think that's probably my dad. It's more, he was an intense guy. Everything, he was very competitive with us growing up, and I think my brother and I are the same. My brother's the head coach at Olentangy Berlin. I think we're very competitive, and I don't like to lose. So there's just some times where I think it gets the best of me.
Well, it's clearly been working for you guys because you're 13-0 right now. Have a chance to be 14-0 tomorrow when you play Perrysburg. You guys have a terrific schedule ahead of you, very challenging, but from what it looks like, you guys are doing a great job. So, Rick, again, thank you so much.
Yeah,
appreciate
absolutely.
you coming on. So
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks for having me.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Chasing the Game. Be sure to check out our other episodes on the WTOL 11 Plus app. You can also find us on YouTube and on Spotify. We'll see you guys next time.